What's that? Let's go.
Oh, are we live?
We might be. Let's take a look. It looks like we are live. I see that the stream has connected. Probably those first. There it is. Yep. Let's go. We got this. We're live. Welcome back to Mind Your Biz. My name is Seth, and I have with me the ever effervescent, lovely Mama Biz. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning.
Awesome. Good morning, GM. Let's talk about the current situation with markets. Let's talk about Bitcoin's price. Let's talk about some of the nation states that are involved in buying Bitcoin. Let's talk about some of the regulatory environment here in the United States, because you know what? If you're here like us, probably, in my opinion, probably not worth leaving. You know, not whatever life advice. You expat if you want to, but we probably need to try to make it work here. And if we don't, then it's probably a bad sign for the rest of the world. But we got so much to cover, so little time. Mama Biz, do you mind telling us about the Fear and Greed Index?
Fear and Greed Index is at 20 today. Extreme fear.
Yeah, extreme fear. Yesterday, though, what are we coming down off of?
Still extreme fear.
And last week?
Extreme fear.
Last month?
Extreme fear. But 20 is even worse, right?
It's supposed to be, yeah. I mean,
that's surprising to me. I would think that people would be starting to chill out a little bit. Like, okay, we felt the rumble from FTX, and now the dust is settling, and now we're getting a clear picture. I would think that would shift it a little bit, but I guess people are getting even more scared.
They are. They're absolutely getting more scared. And I mean, it begs the question, like, why so scared? Why so serious, right? Like, I don't know that I have an answer to that, but definitely people are showing more fear. And I think some of the news articles that we're going to cover today will help answer that question just a little bit. Make sure our transitions are working. Yes, they are. But I think some of the other news that we're going to cover, oh my gosh, you can see the green screen failure as we change scenes there. Oof, wrecked. Sorry, green screen. We'll tend to you later. But yeah, crypto bubbles will give us an overview of markets right now. You mentioned an outlier, Mama Biz. What caught your eye?
Oh, this morning. Oh, just Trust Wallet. We saw that it was up on Tuesday, but I think it's up even more from where we saw it last time. I recalled it being like somewhere in the 50s in terms of percentage gain, and this is now 86 something. So
yeah.
I could be wrong.
No, there you go.
We're relying on my memory, so maybe I'm wrong. But
I mean, hey, possibly.
But it looks like it's up more.
Looks like the one day though it's down, and so it was up even higher yesterday over its 1 week trend. But over the last night, it kind of lost a little bit. Synthetics is down over the last day, which is a little bit disappointing to me because they are a protocol that helps people to create their own synthetic tokens, meaning like you can wrap something else and then create a representation of it on Ethereum. So I'm kind of bummed to see that not doing so well. HNT, I'm also not very happy to see them going up. So we haven't talked about HNT.
Yeah, I have no idea. Helium?
Yep, Helium Network. It is it's supposed to be an Internet of Things connected network where people can earn rewards by doing a form of mining by having these little devices, basically these little like Wi-Fi access points inside of their home or at some other location where they create a special custom mesh network that connects all these IoT devices. I don't like it. I think it's a huge problem. You know my take on IoT devices, though. Do we have a Ring doorbell?
IoT devices?
Internet of Things devices. Internet connected appliances in your home. Do we have even one?
Oh, no, we don't. I mean, like, do we have Alexa, Siri? Do we use those things? No.
Right. And
not in this house. No smart TVs. No.
Yeah. Well, we have a smart TV because you can no longer get a regular TV.
Well,
panel.
I mean, we don't connect our smart TVs to anything.
Right. Yeah.
We don't use them as smart TVs. We use them as TVs.
Yeah, we tried to, right? And for as long as we could, we just got basic panels, and then we connected some other device to be able to pipe in like streaming services, whatever else. And we backed up all of our DVD and Blu-ray collection. We went out of our way to get Blu-rays and DVDs so we could have our own digital backups. That we used our own custom media server to have at home. Our boys had a very different experience, right, than their peers.
Probably,
media consumption. So
some of them don't have phones, and I see that socially they're suffering.
Yeah, they're upset about it, but at the same time, like got a good friend Sherpa. His daughter was accused of doing something, of cyberbullying at their school, and the principal was called in a little parent-teacher meeting, and they brought the local police.
Are you kidding?
To a meeting. Yeah, on the very first meeting with him and his daughter present.
This is happening more and more. Wow.
And he said, "Oh yeah, you think that my daughter was bullying somebody online? Let me show you something." And he goes through a more rigorous security process, like how we do to unlock our phones, no Face ID, goes through and says, tell me where in her application list you see that there's TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, or any of the platforms that your that the little shits at your school claim that my daughter bullied them. I'll wait. So he actually hands his phone over to law enforcement. Never do that, by the way. But they take a look through and they're like, oh. And the cops commented, they're like, all right, man, you got it locked down better than my kids do. I think we watched, we let them spend about 8 hours over the weekend on TikTok alone. And yeah, like there's a reason that you want to secure your digital life and your digital footprint to that extent. And yeah, it seems restrictive to kids who expect to have their digital life be different because of their peers, but their peers are surrendering their entire future through metadata. Right? Like, anyway, that was my little rant was about.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's just interesting that, you say the police were brought in because we're seeing more of that happening where when there are issues with kids at school, issues that have been common, always there, ubiquitous, but because of, fears of violence, those are real fears. But because of, the uncertainty of how children will behave, police are being brought in more and more to these types of disciplinary action or, addressing concerns. It's like, oh yeah, we have to get law enforcement involved. That's terrifying.
It should be
to make that a
terrifying.
precedent for children.
Yeah, that should be terrifying, right? I mean, when you hear people online, read people online saying, well, your words are literal violence. That as a phrase it's meant to have a chilling effect. It's meant to prevent you from saying the words that they don't like, even if they're truthful and even if they are necessary and even if you're being kind by saying them. That kind of language is designed to shut off communication and ultimately to cancel you. But beyond that, like, it's a false equivalence. No, words are not literal violence. Calling for violence could lead to literal violence. But words, me saying like, hey, you know what, buddy? I think it's probably a bad idea for you to live your life this way. That's not violence. Or like even some bullying.
It's opinion. You can't it's an opinion.
Yeah. Like I had a I'm going to call it a come to Jesus moment with a close friend, a contact a few days ago, because they had been struggling with a personal situation. And I told them, hey, you need outside help for this thing. And so, yeah, I had to follow up with them and say, hey, this situation that you're dealing with in your life is going to get a lot worse if you don't get a third party involved. And I had to reiterate and reiterate and reiterate. Because we're buddies, this person didn't turn to me and say, well, you keep telling me I'm living my life wrong. Your words are literal violence. Stop. They said, oh, yeah, you're right. But I haven't gotten to it. I don't know if I will. Like, I'm being lazy. He just admitted to it. I'm just being lazy. There you go.
And that's okay.
End of
and
conversation.
That's not a violent exchange.
Yeah, and I didn't tell him, oh, you're being lazy. Your laziness is literal violence.
We're really off in the weeds this morning.
I know, it's great.
That was
though.
Unexpected.
Here's the thing. When we talk about helium and HNT, I'm just towing the line that I have towed for years. Check the receipts, Mind Your Biz community. You tell me if I've been consistent or not. IoT, internet connected devices, facilitate in a much broader sense all this craziness about words are literal violence. We need to police everything. We need to monitor what you're doing. You have to have a camera in your home. It should be connected to the internet. And is it secured? Who knows? Like, all of that is connected. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. Just saying, right? And IoT just facilitates that. Look at what happened to the UK. They installed all those CCTV cameras, and people there hate it because cops show up for no apparent reason, or because you're playing a certain kind of game in the streets, or you're shooting a sketch, like a skit for YouTube, and they get their undies in a bunch and send the bobbies after you because they think you're a violent criminal. Or there's some problem. They think you did a drug deal when you're like, no, I literally just picked up, my daughter for the weekend because it's my weekend to have her. It's like, what? And handed, and when she went back with her mom, like handed her mom, some cash or something. Like, craziness has ensued with that nanny state over in the UK. Why would we let that happen digitally here? That's all I'm saying. HNT has always seemed like a bad idea to me because IoT seems like a bad idea to me. So anyway, that as an impassioned rant, I'm not going to apologize for that, guys. I'm never going to apologize for just towing that line. I think you should too. I don't think you should allow for connected devices to be in your home. Like, just saying, you don't have to. The Deadwood says Slysoft to back up DVD. Nah, man. Nah, bro. No, we did. No. We went way more hardcore than that. Auto Gordian Knot and a few other free and open source tools. Nah, man, I don't pay for software to rip content that I already own. Thank you, but no. Open source has got it handled. It's been a minute since I've had to do it though. That's the thing. So just saying. Automatic Beat says rant rating 10 for 10. Hey, appreciate that. Bobcat X is in the chat. Says, what up, homie? Gonna do a quick read through. Barry Merritt says HNT allowed location spoofing that defrauded most of the HNT miners in all of 2021. Total loss for some. There you go. So they haven't really acted with great integrity, even among people who have opted into their system. So for me, that's like just more. It's just a failure upon failure stacking, right? Like it's like they're like the Poopsmith, right, from the old Homestar Runner site. If you remember the Homestar Runner cartoons, they're just stacking piles and piles of horse crap. Like at what point do you just start to say like, oh yeah, some layer of this horse crap stack is horse crap. Oh my gosh, I got to get out of here. It's horse crap. Like it just looked like horse crap to me a while ago. So just saying. Yeah, maybe now the rant is over. Maybe. Barry Merritt says HNT is connected to Solana. I didn't actually know that they had connections to Solana. That makes it even worse.
Oh,
gosh
wow.
Darn it. Thank you. Gandalf
How
Gray
are
says,
they up if they're connected to Solana?
Yeah, right? I don't know. Maybe they were hoping to get in on that Solana phone. I sincerely hope nobody here went in and bought that thing, but they made a phone. Just like Facebook made a phone. What was it? 8 years ago? They tried to make a phone. They tried to bring a phone to market like 8 or 9 years ago, if you remember, where they were like, "Oh no, people won't use our app." It's like, of course they're going to use your app. You just don't get to own the hardware. Anyway, just saying, corporations do crazy things, right? Where it's like innovation by committee. Committees don't innovate. Sorry, bud. It's not how it works. But yeah. So I think it's a really bad idea. They're traveling back in time to our earliest comments here. The Deadwood did jump in first and said, good morning, Seth. Also, good morning, fam. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. If not, may your closest friend crap their pants so you can have the lull of the week. Sounds like we need more information there, the Deadwood. You got some stories we need to know. Sean C. says, freedom of speech gives us the right to offend others, whereas freedom of thought gives them the choice as to whether or not to be offended. That's way too much common sense for being so early in the morning, Sean. I'm going to need more caffeine. I don't know about you, Mom Biz, but way too much common sense. Yeah. Appreciate that, though. Common sense is not common, as you're aware. Thank you all for putting your thinking caps on when you jump into the Mind Your Biz show. Back to the weekly view over on Crypto Bubbles, and similar story as, I think, last live stream. We got a lot of the same weekly winners.
Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
FTT is down. TWT is up.
Yeah, right. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't, these trends don't necessarily reverse that fast. And I've heard from some people that think that bottom support is in for the market. Shout out to Jay Chains, who's got a wonderful morning live Twitter Spaces show now that he also simulcasts to YouTube. I can't wait to see how that's going to shape up because it's a brand new brand for him, brand new channel for him. So we listened in on that. And a lot of people do think that the crypto bottom is in. Let's take a look at charts to see whether or not our chopsticks agree. And it looks like, at least the last few days, if we're looking at the daily chart, we're starting to get some, more data to hone in on if we're just sticking with this daily chart, which, again, it's probably a good time for us to red screen, yeah? Should we red screen?
Yes.
Let's red screen. What's the deal here, Mama Biz?
You are responsible for your own decisions. This media is not intended as financial or investing advice. Do your own research or get wrecked.
Let me just make that a little bit larger for the kids in the back. Appreciate you reading that out for us. Just to say, I realize putting a red screen on the channel might not be an actual legal disclaimer. It might not be.
Yeah. Just enjoy our opinions because that is what is being offered here. Opinion, not advice.
Right.
Not counsel.
We're not qualified from the standpoint of having like FINRA certifications or being, having passed the bar in any territory of the United States. And no, we're not long-term financial advisors or consultants to major Fortune 50 companies. I was a tech trainer for major Fortune 50 companies, some major telcos and related handset devices and technology companies, but that does not make me your financial advisor. There we go. We're playing the game. Thanks for being here and understanding that it's just another dude with a webcam and two mics. But yeah, appreciate that. All right, on the daily chart, we're going to go ahead and kind of flip that back in there. We We got we got something that's starting to firm up into a trend, looking like a descending wedge, which means that in my mind, we're just going to have a breakout one way or another. Seeing that we've got that little tomahawk right there as the most recent candle, it tells me, potentially, Mama Biz, that we're in for some kind of a reversal or a juke. Something's going to happen. We can't just stay here. People who say, oh, this is bottom support. That's not what bottom support looks like to me on a daily chart. It looks like we're about to see the price of Bitcoin do something. And maybe I will give some financial advice. The price of Bitcoin will definitely go up or down.
Ooh, that's good advice.
I know. And very sage. And what can I say? I've got I'm about to get Insight of the Year award over in Miami. I'm going to go there, I'm pretty sure, for technical analysis. It doesn't get better than that. The price of Bitcoin will definitely go up or down. And the histogram showing potentially a flip towards bullishness, it might signal that, this right here on the MACD, as we're decreasing the amplitude of that histogram right there on the bearish side, we might see that it's a reversal to the upside, right? We've had a couple of green candle days, a couple of red candle days. Do we get a bounce back up? I'm not going to make a prediction there, but people who are saying that, like, this is it, this is the new bottom support. Y'all know I disagree, because we've defined that value by range that I think is totally possible for Bitcoin to dip down into. I think we can see another leg down, but I think everyone who's saying, like, no, it's definitely going to be like $8,000 Bitcoin or $11,000 Bitcoin, it has to go to that level. Bitcoin doesn't care about you.
It's hard to predict. I mean, predict with that kind of accuracy, it's tricky.
Yeah, right? Yeah, totally agreed. Bobcat says, looking forward to hanging in Miami. Yeah, I very much appreciate that. Bobcat, we're going to have some of the fam there, so cannot wait to go places, see things, especially, man, Brickell Village, right out by the beach. That spot's just gorgeous. If we don't eventually make it out of the beach, I'm going to be shocked. But yeah, hey, Mama Bear cares for crypto is in the chat. Ooh, did you say?
Mama Bear.
What, I'm sorry, I don't want to read her comment.
Did you say up or down?
Yeah, yes, I did. I did. That happened. Crypto Crag says, yo, yo, yo. Hey, you know what I got for you, yo, yo, yo? I've got a hey, because it is scam season in crypto. So appreciate you being with us live. Let's see. Oh, Sean C. jumps in about his experience with the Solana phone. He says, I got the Solana phone and it's great. I've not gotten any telemarketer calls or any other calls now that I think about it. That's awesome. Appreciate y'all smashing that like, sharing the video while we are live. The live viewer count is one of the big metrics that YouTube looks for to decide whether or not this media is relevant for the rest of the YouTube community. People who might be interested in the current absolute state of the debacle at FTX, the fallout with celebrity endorsements, and then, of course, the rest of the markets. And what we do here at Mind Your Biz, as you're aware, is a little bit unique in that I also cover a bit of a portfolio that we've been tracking for some time, as well as talk about crypto mining picks, proof of work mining picks. You subscribe to this channel so that you get 2 live streams per week and occasional interviews, product unboxings and reviews, hands-on tutorials, whiteboard videos that give really great simple explanations. It's really kind of a cornucopia of crypto content. That sounded very strange, but we do alliteration here too.
Hey, it is Thanksgiving season.
Yeah, right. Cornucopias all around. And if you can fill them full of cryptos, then good for you, because it's all on sale. But yeah, Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a little bit like, if you're into The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, it's a bit like Aslan. It is not a tame lion. Bitcoin just kind of does what it wants. It's been likened to Honey Badger too. Gets nasty with it. So let me go ahead and save our current mining chopsticks. It's not very helpful right now to show that we're in a descending wedge. But I do think that we're just going to see a breakout. There's a point at which I think it's going to break out. We're finding that sort of equilibrium here around this equilibrium point, and I think that signals probably a breakout. Automatic Beats offers I think, a very helpful suggestion. Instead of a cornucopia, you could say it's a smorgasbord of crypto. Appreciate that. Barry Merritt says Alameda loaned SBF $3.3 billion according to the bankruptcy filing. That wasn't the number we had before.
I thought I read 1 billion, but I guess it depends on the headline, right?
No, I think if it's the filing, we should be able to find that. It's
that's
record.
in the filing?
So if that's in the filing, we should be able to find it in public record, and that is phenomenal. Appreciate that, Barry, for sharing that right now live. As you know, and the last week, as this stuff was unfolding, we were live, and we couldn't get to information fast enough, and the last week has been an absolute like poop storm of false info, false flags, people saying they're flying to Bahamas, trying to track Sam down, claiming they're going to go like whatever, punch him in the face.
Well, there's something interesting in one of the news articles that kind of caught my attention. We'll see it later, but about that, like, oh, they're going to go get him.
Right.
No.
Sure you will. Yeah.
Yeah, they were holding him in the Bahamas. The Bahamian police had him there, and they're like, well, we don't have any legal precedents. He hasn't broken any laws here for us to hold him.
Right.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Right. Well, but then they're right. They would need to have some kind of communication. They need to have an extradition request, or they need to have something else.
Mm-hmm.
An extradition request simply is not going to happen today. It's not going to happen this week or this month.
Which illustrates the bigger issue here is like, they're like, well, we don't have enough on him. Like, does America? I mean, if America says or does something, maybe we could do something about that. Did they? Did our government do anything to get SBF when he was in the Bahamas? No.
Yeah. No. Then they're not going to. There's no reason for them to just yet. When it comes to an extradition request, he needs to be found guilty of some kind of a crime, right? Like something needs to happen where the American authorities just decide that, like, yeah, we need to issue this now, and then we'll work with the Bahamian or the Bahamian police, like they are an extradition friendly country. If he was trying to flee extradition, he wouldn't be in Bahamas. He would go somewhere that does not have an extremely close tie with the United States, and is only like a 30-minute plane ride.
Well, what the rumor was that from there he was off to the United Arab Emirates.
And somebody else said Argentina, but that was all BS.
Yeah.
Like, again, the last week has been very difficult for us to find the best information. Appreciate you bringing that up. I'm checking out Bitcoin Magazine right now just to see if I can find that $3.3 billion figure, because I would love to pull that up for our content. So I'm using that as my search term, see what I can find out. Nope. Not seeing anything recent.
Can you put SBF in there?
Yeah, I think I need to. I don't know how well their search works. I've never used it internally, so we'll see how well that. Nope. Also,
just put in SBF billion then.
No, I'm not finding anything for SBF. There we go. Nothing. No, nothing with SBF's name in it. Oh, you know what they don't do? They don't sort it the way you need to. Gosh darn it! Why do they make this so difficult to search their own content? I'm sorry, Bitcoin Magazine, but you have failed this city. I'm about to shoot an arrow into their heart right now. You can't see it. It's off camera. And it's metaphorical, but yeah, they have failed this city. It's true. All right, gonna look for it now. SBF 3.3. It should show up on some of the other news aggregators. Nope, it definitely does not.
I did read 1 billion though. I did read that this morning somewhere.
Yeah. Bottom line is though, he took a personal loan from
billion. Billion.
Even if it's one, even if it's 1 billion, it's like, dude, we're like, just imagine if you will, how much a single $1 million in theft would be, right? From a chart like this or whatever, or from a business that you work at. If you were discovered to have taken $1 million at almost any company, definite jail time, straight to jail, no questions asked. If you're proven to be the person who's at fault and taking like a personal loan, misappropriating funds, jail.
Yeah. Well, did you see what Mama Bear wrote here? She's like, they aren't going after him. He will spill too many beans about them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They trained him how to function like a bank to do this. Yep. They did.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to try checking that out on Twitter as well. See if I can get it pulled up over on the Bitcoin Magazine. Dude, what's going on? I know I follow Bitcoin Magazine. I know I have notifications on for their stuff. Okay, I'm looking through their articles now over there. And I'm just going to show you. I'm going through this live, right? So, taking a look at this. Complete failure. I'm not finding anything that is specific to that, but I think that possible. I just got a. Oh, there it is. Hedge fund Alameda lent $3.3 billion to SBF himself in the court filing.
There.
All right, now it's a headline they have there. It might not be a full article just yet, and so they're claiming the court filing. I sincerely wish they would link to sources, though. That's the sort of thing that's very, very easy to just say. And if you don't have a link to the source, like here on Mind Your Biz, we want to read the court filing, right? So we'll have to track that down. Apologies that we don't have that open today. That wasn't the main headline we're going to go after, but
Yeah,
appreciate
I
you sharing
do
that.
like what this guy says here. Jose D. Sanchez says, if I tried to move around $600 from my bank, I get flagged. This guy was moving around $3 billion with no repercussions. Smack my head.
Again, you steal $1 million, you go to jail. Steal $1 billion, you get offered a job by the government. Nothing's going to happen to SBF. Nothing at all. I've been predicting this for a while. You alert me when something happens, right? Like news media will get it late. Nothing's going to happen to him.
I mean, what, do we need to create one of those like change.org campaigns? Like, will the U.S. government please arrest SBF for stealing $10 billion? Please?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Can we do that?
Yeah, please, sir. May we have some law enforcement? It's going to come to that very likely. So let me jump into the next bit of news so we don't go over time, which might already be too late.
Too late.
I know, but here we are on TX Street taking a look at the median contract fee at under $3. Median TX fee on Bitcoin way up, signaling much higher utilization. If it's over $1 to transfer your Bitcoin, that's a sign that everyone is moving their funds. It's not necessarily large amounts, but I mean, 2 Bitcoin is not too shabby. You do have a lot that's being moved around though. Plenty of, yeah, that's funny. 2 and 3 Bitcoin transactions fitting into this block. So yeah, if you're shuffling around 45K plus, right? If you're shuffling around $60,000, $1 to transfer it, not bad. Compare that to a wire transfer fee for $60,000, and I'll take the Bitcoin fees all day, and I'll wait the 10 minutes. Still better than a wire transfer. I mean, all day. So not bad there. Median contract fee on Ethereum is also not bad if you need to kind of rework your portfolio. So just be aware of that. Go to the cost to mine one full Bitcoin. You can see the tool right here on insights.brains.com. And I've always got a link to that in the description of this video. As always, basically all of the sources that you see me link to, the resources, are available as a link in the description of the video. So you can educate yourself and you can share with your friends and family how they can educate themselves, right? You can only be saved from the market conditions as fast as you can learn and implement the best strategies and tools. So
Oh,
here.
Someone says we like it when you go over on time.
I definitely appreciate that.
We will probably do that this morning.
Yeah, for sure. Almost definitely. Let me quickly check out my calendar view over here. I thought that we have something at 10 a.m. We've got something at 10, or was it?
We do?
I thought we did.
No, tomorrow.
Got it. Hey, I'm so glad it's tomorrow, and I'm so glad that my brain doesn't work, and you're the best. Thank you for letting me know. All right, over on brains.com, we've got this calculator. I put in the power characteristics and the energy efficiency of an S19J Pro. Pretty typical model now, pool fee of 1%. These are typical prices that you're going to pay in order to mine one full Bitcoin, and this is the typical profit margin or the cost to produce. At this performance profile of an S19J Pro, you're going to get one full Bitcoin for about 14.1. It's not a bad price. And as I've been saying, 4 months, that's still within the value buy range over here because it's within the cost to produce, the average cost to produce, on the upper end of the average cost to produce. That's something you can do from air quotes home, right? Meaning that we could go across town, Mama Biz. We could go across town. We could find an industrial park. We could find somebody to partner with there. And we could basically say, hey, we're going to give you free heat for the winter for your warehouse, your manufacturing warehouse, and we just need your cost for power. They're going to get the commercial rate of below 8 cents per kilowatt hour. So we know we can get that rate or lower potentially. And just let them know, hey, we'll cover the extra in your billing. Please, can you just show us what you were getting billed before your last yearly average? In some cases with heavy manufacturing, they're like, yeah, that's not even a problem, right? We got a water jet over there. We got this other machinery over here, stamping machine or a hydraulic press, all the other like really heavy duty stuff that does do a very big draw from the grid. And they'll just be like, yeah, no problem at all. Or they might be working in metallurgy where they're smelting, or they have to have a kiln or something. So any of those heavy manufacturing spots, like just drive in your car and follow the high voltage lines in your city straight over to the commercial spots. That's where you're going to get that power rate. You might have to cross the train tracks, but it's everywhere. Every major city has it. You can find it. That's why I always bring up that power rate of 8 cents because it's accessible. Even in California, where you're getting destroyed on the price of energy, you can find 8-cent power. You just have to look harder for it. So this is pretty common. And that's why I put that at the upper range here for the cost to produce. Here for the cost to produce. You can find this and you can start getting that value buy range right now if you had mining gear that was that efficient. Anyway, that's why I do that. Was that helpful?
Yes.
Really?
I actually understood it, so I'm going to say yes.
Cool. All right. That's the hope, guys, is that it makes more sense. And mining, of course, is just a DCA strategy where you get tiny bits every single day at an average cost. And in this case, your average cost of DCA, you're buying it at a discount, about 14,000. It's not bad for Bitcoin right now, right? So just saying, it's really not bad at all. Let's jump into that news, though, Mama Biz. What do we got?
Binance puts FTX behind it and announces plans to acquire another crypto failure. Binance will reportedly put forward a new bid for Voyager Digital following the cancellation of FTX's winning bid.
Oh, my gosh.
This guy's CZ's making all the moves.
Yeah, he is.
Dang.
It is Game of Thrones. They're trying to be the last one to be a dominant force in crypto lending and trading.
Yeah, like, okay, so I've never watched Game of Thrones, but I feel as though, from what I've heard, we're like watching the aftermath of, like, was it the Red Wedding episode? Like, there's just been this major, like, culling, and now, who's left on top, and, definitely CZ. Like, this guy he took down FTX.
Absolutely. Taking him down, and now with this acquisition.
Now he's moving in and making, like, Binance was all over the news this morning, and, like business thing, this big, like making a lot of moves now in the aftermath of the FTX failure.
100%, because you have all these distressed assets. Voyager is underwater, right? You got Three Arrows Capital and all of the other institutional groups that were reliant on them as a custodian. So you've got this trickle down effect where all of these, or this cascading effect, right, with the contagion, right, of all these debts that are bad debts that are creating bankruptcies, that are leaving perfectly good brands out there, perfectly good companies, albeit like broke, but perfectly good companies that are being sold cheap. Like everything's on sale in business, everything's on sale in the crypto markets. Not everything's on sale in real estate and stocks and commodities
yet,
right?
It's coming. I mean,
right.
When the average person can't afford to buy real estate, there's one of two things happening: a massive sea change in the way that entire industry works, or it's got to come down so it becomes more affordable. So
yeah,
we'll see.
100%. Yeah, and the buying power of the dollar is it's all factored in there as well. So yeah, that's awesome to see, though, that Binance is what they're doing there. Now go ahead, Mind Your Biz community, just take a guess. Will we in this household be using Voyager or Binance anytime soon?
To hold our crypto?
Yeah.
No.
Probably not, right? So just saying.
Like we have to use certain things to transfer, right?
To trade, maybe.
Yeah.
And to acquire? No, we don't acquire our crypto on centralized exchanges. We don't buy from Coinbase. We don't buy from Wire. We don't buy from any of these groups. We don't use a credit card to buy crypto. Never have. So just saying, throwing it out there. I see that we've got several viewers who have not liked this video yet. Go ahead and smash that like button. You know what that does? There's a special mechanism that's attached to the like button that goes straight to the heavens. I'm sorry, the cloud. Anyway, somebody else's computer and somebody else's wisdom, and then it rains down blessings. It rains down this special sort of like, it's almost like, it looks like rain. It's sort of like little droplets, foglets, but it's filled with little pieces of candy. Or maybe it's just like confectioner's sugar. It's just straight confectioner's sugar, right? Powdered sugar. And when it falls on the people in the rest of YouTube, they say like, you know what? Oh, sweet. That video must be good. So your like counts. Appreciate you doing that. And I know a bunch of people are like, that's ridiculous. Dad jokes and you talk like a dad.
You're a dad. Yeah, you're an old dad, even.
Stop.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. You're a young dad who has old children.
That's true. Yeah, those kids. What's wrong with them?
They're aging.
I guess. Jeez, who does that? We didn't. Dang. So, what else we got by way of Binance news? This is more involved in Binance.
Let's see. Binance OKX and Bybit suspend USDT and USDC deposits on Solana.
Yeah, so this is kind of a big deal. Talked about this over on JChain's Twitter space, which I really appreciated. You gotta really go and be supportive of JChain's new channel here on YouTube as well. Phenomenal contributor to the BitBoy crypto team, and then to the Meta Money team, the Hit Network, and now is doing his own brand. So we want to be supportive of him as well. But yeah, on that show, I mentioned there that this is a very bad sign. It's a very, very bad sign for the health of the broader crypto ecosystem. But we can't trust this network anymore. So all the wormhole wrapped assets in USDC and USDT, multiple exchanges are saying, yeah, we don't want any part of it. We don't trust Solana, and we're worried about the future of Solana based on what's happening at FTX. That's not their literal quote, but that's the sentiment that I'm picking up from this article and from those exchanges, is that Solana is so compromised, they're not even letting stable coins go out there because they don't want to damage the market. Can you imagine if Solana failed and it happened to have a few $1 billion worth of USDC on there? Could be bad. USDT as well, right? The stables, we need them in the rest of the LP markets. We need them on the rest of the decentralized exchanges to do their best work. And they're useless to us if they're on a dead chain. So this is them essentially saying, yeah, Solana is a dead man walking. Like, just don't interact with it at all. What do you say to them? Nothing. You know, what do you send to them? Nothing. That's my take on it, though. We got some El Salvador news as well. What's happening in El Salvador?
El Salvador doubles down on Bitcoin. We'll be buying 1 Bitcoin a day. Its president, Nayib Bukele, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, Nayib Bukele.
Nayib Bukele publicly said with 1 Bitcoin currently worth 16.5, he's going to buy 1 a day. And I think they might not be in this article. I think, oh, there it is. Had 550 Bitcoin in September last year, much of it bought near the peak prices, but now he's going in bullish, I guess.
Yeah, I think this is the correct strategy for them. And yeah, doubling down, this is probably the right time for them to do it. I think with El Salvador being a dollarized country, and maybe they're not trying to de-dollarize, but with them trying to decrease their dependence on fiat currencies, if they're going to do the Bitcoin thing, like, this is the right time to start DCA. Absolutely the right time. I don't know that it was the right time before for them to do all the purchases they did, but they did catch a lot of falling knives. They did buy on a lot of red candle days. They were pretty smart about how they acquired their Bitcoin when they started to acquire their Bitcoin, I think. So I think they're just going to get better and better at that. So, hey, Mama Bear says several NFT projects on Solana are moving to Ethereum. Very good news.
Yeah. Feel free to write a little more about that, Mama Bear.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know what projects are over there. Now, we are not an NFT alpha gathering show. We don't track portfolios of NFTs today. We might in the future. We don't know. Just because they are a part of this ecosystem, they're not going away. They're not leaving anytime soon. NFTs are the present and the future of crypto. So you can like it or love it, but if you hate it, you're missing out for sure. No two ways about that. But yeah, Solana, it's good to hear that the blue chips at least are leaving Solana and going to Ethereum. We'd love to hear more about that, though. Tell us which ones. All right. So what do we got here? 550 Bitcoin, moving at 1 a day. They haven't told us what their DCA schedule is going to be. That's funny, though. What the crap? Justin Sun, this guy, can we just please stop paying attention to anything he says? Why does it even matter what he said?
This is a name I'm only recently familiar with, but I know very little about him.
I'm just saying, if he had his way, you'd see his name in every news article all the time. He's a bit of a clout chaser, and you know he's a independently wealthy guy who stepped into cryptocurrency and made a network called Tron. But here he is saying that they're going to buy Bitcoin daily. We'll also buy 1 Bitcoin every day starting tomorrow. Like, so what? Who cares? Really? Who is this geared towards? And why does it matter? Anyway, just saying, dollar cost averaging at its finest, or just a gimmick. Yeah, in the case of Justin Sun, probably. In the case of Nayib Bukele, he's been very smart about the value buys that he's done over the last year. So I think that it is strategic. And I think that they do know something that a lot of other people don't. And that is that they'll get their dollar cost average is going to approach some of the value buy range. If we do get there, and if we don't, if we have pretty much found the bottom and we, in a few more days or weeks, we discovered this is like the actual bottom, then what better time to buy, right? Like, I think he's been really smart about that. Anyway, I mean, I'm not like a Nayib Bukele fan either, really. I don't think that he's the best leader of the, in the world, and I don't think their policies are the best. And I think that there's going to be a lot of pushback in the future about becoming de-dollarized and moving into Bitcoin and having problems with exchange rates and stuff. But so far, the transition has been, it's been reviewed very well by Salvadoranians and by outsiders alike. So I think it's probably the right move for them anyway. If they're going to do it, go all in, right? And then double down when it's cheap. So it makes sense to me. But we got some celeb news today.
Oh, yes.
What's going on there?
Tom Brady and Larry David face class action for endorsing FTX. Suit alleges they backed unregistered securities. Unbelievable.
Yeah, right? Yeah, here's the thing. Guys, like, we know that you're trying to be made whole. We know that you're trying to, like, find somebody that can pay you back for your losses or whatever. But this is not the way. Leave poor Larry David out of it. Well, he's not poor, but
He will be after this.
exactly.
Jeez.
Yeah, you're gonna clear him out. Him and Tom Brady, whatever he has left after all his losses at FTX, like, he did have his money where his mouth was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they lost money too, and now they're losing reputation. I think this one kind of this headline kind of it bothered me because I know the poor celebrities. I sound ridiculous, but I feel like when we're looking at Tom Brady, Larry David, Kim Kardashian, was another one in the news recently, the government going after them or, lawsuits being taken against them. They're even less informed than probably most of the people sitting in the chat right now about crypto and how it works. What do they know? It's like that this is the next thing, so hop on board, and that's what they were trying to do. But it's like we're gonna go after Tom Derry and Larry David and not SBF. That's kind of how the sentiment I get. I'm sure that SBF is included in the lawsuit, but it's like his name is not on the headline. It's just I don't know, something about that just bothers me. Where it seems like this kind of wag the dog type of thing. Like look what's happening over here. Look at what those people over there did. You recognize their names and faces, right? And then it's like some tactic for us to ignore the real players, the real ne'er-do-wells in this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Mom Bear chimes in and says the lawsuit is for show. Not sure there's any substance with it going forward. I think you're probably right. I think that at least initially it's for show, but at the same time, it is common for people who've been involved in some kind of like serious financial damage to try to find it from somewhere, right? And you can't bleed, can't bleed a turnip, can't bleed a stone. And you go over to Sam, SBF, he claims that he's cleared out, right? Like he's
sure.
Yeah. And FTX is obviously cleared out because of the misappropriation of funds and how they spent them. So the money is gone. That's just it. There's no recourse. Their money is gone. So you do wind up having people say like, great, where can we get our money back from? Like, it happens when people are involved in accidents on the road all the time, right? Where it's like, you could try to sue the driver or whatever. If they were driving, some like whatever, if they're a Coca-Cola truck driver, they're going to sue Coca-Cola. Full stop. And if it's some whatever local driver, I pity the fool because his insurance is going to take the hit. They're going to sue him. People just do. They get especially litigious when they lose money, though, right? So yeah, I think we can probably expect to see more of that. Deadwood says FTX being chosen by the World Economic Forum. Could this have been a reset attempt with all the political ties and guidance? It looks too perfect. ETH was chosen as well, and they attacked the power usage, destroying mining. Yeah, no, you make a very fair point. I think that there are powers at play that we haven't fully accounted for, and the WF, they just keep on showing up, right? Like a bad penny. They just keep turning up. So yeah, if you can imagine it, there's probably a pretty solid case for it maybe being true. Stuff that even the words conspiracy theory, they don't sound negative anymore. They just sound like possible fortune telling, like possible real truth. Like that could be a potential future. So I'll neither confirm nor deny what I think about that, but I think you're wise to bring that up within all of this news cycle. But speaking of bringing things up, the authoritarians, the WEF, those who are in power, we got some political news too.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says crypto markets need more effective oversight following FTX implosion. As the collapse of major exchange FTX continues to fuel a bearish mood throughout the crypto sphere, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has called for the introduction of tighter regulations for the crypto market. If you want to know where the end game is, right?
Exactly, right?
Former head of the Federal Reserve. That's
Right.
who Janet Yellen is.
Yep. And then you look at some of the other major supporters. You got a lot of
Chair.
politicians.
Sorry, not head, chair.
Yeah.
Chair.
Right. Yeah, you got a lot of these people who are they want to regulate crypto before they will actually participate in crypto. They don't want to give any guidance to crypto companies that are trying to innovate. They just want to attempt to regulate via litigation, right? Like, we're going to sue you. Gary Gensler's the worst, right? We're going to sue you for what? For selling unregistered securities. Dude, we came to you like for 2 years straight and asked you what to do. And you didn't tell us anything. Like, your office did nothing to help us be competitive or compliant. So now you want to sue us? It's a bad look. And then, yeah, characters like Janet Yellen, come on. No. This person can describe to you what a blockchain is in the most elementary term. She just can't describe to you why it's important that we use it, because it makes her look unnecessary. So anyway, no wonder that she wants to, regulate the crap out of it, regulate the life out of it. But we do have additional political news.
U.S. House Committee to hold hearing on FTX collapse. Plans to investigate the collapse of FTX and hold a hearing on the matter next month.
Why? Why does the U.S. House Committee need to hold this hearing in the FTX collapse? Like, I get it. It's a big deal. Did the U.S. House Committee hold a hearing after Bernie Madoff's Ponzi fell through? Did they? I'm asking.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit confused as to why this is so urgent on this one. Like, when Beanie Babies lost all their value, did they have to hold a U.S. House Committee because there were investors who were gullible and they actually invested in something that had no value? No, they didn't? Okay, well, I guess it makes sense for crypto then. Jeez. Just bugs me. Barry Merritt predicts they will demand the outlaw of privacy coins. And the Deadwood says, I call it my shiny hat. The tinfoil got polished way too many times over the past few years to be a theoretical concept. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got some shiny hats too around here.
Definitely.
So appreciate that for sure. And yeah, I agree with Barry Merritt. There is going to be a very close look at privacy coins. Hey, mind your business community, keep the receipts on me. For the last 2 years, which channel has been intensely focused on privacy coins? At least this one, right? Several others as well. And in the cryptocurrency content creator sort of circles, right, and community, I'm kind of known as that guy who will talk about privacy at the drop of a hat. Like, I can be on stage somewhere or I can be on somebody else's channel and I'll just be like, hey, talk to us about privacy coins. Talk to us about security and privacy. It is like we have to understand privacy is the last frontier for us to protect ourselves against potential future abuse by politicians and technocrats. So the future Zuckerbergs and the future Yellens of the world, if we don't fight for our privacy now, and I mean that in a conceptual way, in a metaphorical way, we're not going to physically go threaten anyone with violence, but if we don't really push to maintain our privacy, we could potentially literally never get it back. And not our children and not our children's children. Like, we are fighting for the right to remain human and make mistakes and say dumb shit and not get canceled for it. And have our finances be our finances and our business, and be secure in our papers and possessions. Like, we have to enforce the Fourth Amendment, because what they're talking about is going to erase the Fourth Amendment, at least here in the States. But if that's true about privacy coins. Just saying, unreasonable search and seizure is only as good as your ability to lock your door, right? And digital assets make that harder. So, yeah, the House Committee holding a hearing on the FTX collapse. I'm worried about what the ramifications are. I'm worried about what the knock-on effects there. The fact that it's a bipartisan committee, they're very interested in making things work the way they want. Of course they are. They're the same. They're the authoritarians and those who are more on the side of freedom, even within politics. There is no left versus right. There's top versus bottom. There's power versus the masses, and we need to keep doing what we can to speak truth to power. But we can only do that if we maintain our privacy. So, ironically, right? Like, yeah. If there's no private speech, there's no free speech, and if there's no private finance, there's no sovereign finance. All right, so I'm looking forward to seeing when this happens, and yeah, whether or not they should be streaming some of this. So there you go. I don't see a date mentioned in this article, but
yeah, they said it would be in a month, next month. Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. It'll be next month, but we don't know exactly when just yet. I think I'd like to do a live stream of this event. We could do some commentary. What do you think about that, Mom and Biz?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right.
For sure. Let's see. What did they say here? The hearing in a joint statement on Wednesday saying they expect to hear from the companies and individuals involved, including FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, Alameda Research, Binance, and more. So, okay, so he's going to be there?
Yeah, apparently they expect it. Well, that's what they're saying. They expect to hear from them. I don't know if he'll be legally obligated to show. I don't know if that's why they're saying that. I don't know if he'll be legally compelled to show up to this hearing, but likely. It seems, likely that they can compel him to show up to this hearing. So that would be good. But even still, that's not extradition. That's not extradition. That's not him being arrested.
Nope.
Not him going to jail. He's going to be living his best life out in the open. Yeah, until that point. And when he comes to that hearing, he's going to be driving up in either the fanciest Uber or the fanciest rental or, or chauffeur that his finances can afford, which is still pretty fancy, right? Like,
he's broke, but he can afford to go to the Bahamas. Okay.
Yep. Sam and the Democrats, the DNC. It's one big club and we ain't in it. So anyway, moving on, let's do a little bit of our portfolio management or a little bit of portfolio check-in. We missed that on the last live stream, and I promised that we would get to it this time around. We've got a little bit more time to let this episode breathe. Let's talk about mining profitability. We're going to go back to that 8 cent per kilowatt hour figure that we did on Bitcoin mining because it's appropriate for us to look at those rates. You can find those rates, and I think that you should. Let me decrease that text size a little bit so it all fits on screen. And yeah, NVIDIA is still top of the stack, but that is a very expensive GPU. They're finally starting to show that the on the ground price, the street price of the RTX 4090 is much closer to $2,000 than they admitted before. So thank you, What to Mine, for updating that. That's the only one that's profitable though, Mama Biz. You can buy a $2,000 mining or a GPU to gain about 55 cents each day.
Oof.
Yeah, it's okay. In about 3,500 days, you'll break even. Yeah, I know.
Ouch.
She's wincing over here.
That just hurts.
Yeah, you can't see it, but she's wincing over here. I don't think there's anything else that's actually in the money. I see negative signs behind all of the rest of the profitability for all the rest of the GPUs on this lineup. What I don't see is the ability to... Nope, actually I can. So we can stack the ranking according to 24-hour profitability. A couple of additional coins are showing that there's, they're either break even or they're at 1 cent per day. And then the biggest loser in that lineup is, of course, the older architectures, the older AMD cards. If you're looking at maybe scooping up old technology while it's for sale right now, I would not look here because you're just gonna get wrecked. But if you're looking at building a workstation, a gaming rig, a digital content creation station, then the Vega 56 and 64. They're still phenomenal workstation class cards that still do a great job in that capacity, but they're just obviously not profitable with Ethereum gone. So yeah, just be aware of that you'd be buying probably your cheapest GPUs in this category. Oh my gosh. I say that, but they're still almost $800. That's crazy. Street price. That is crazy. And the Polaris cards are they're not fit for any other purpose other than mining. So I don't know why you'd buy them for anything other than mining. They're listed there, though. Older NVIDIA cards still fetching a phenomenal price. It's good to see that 1080 Ti at below $500. But yeah, if you want that big money, you're gonna spend that big money, unfortunately, and you're not gonna get it back anytime soon. The RTX 3070 looking at a 55,000 day break even point minimum. So yeah, it's just not looking great for GPU mining right now. Is that me saying that the GPU mining is dead?
No,
Yeah.
just not today.
Yeah, today it just doesn't look profitable. Be on alert for great sales on that technology, though, because during these bear markets, during these lean times, that's when the means of production go on sale too. We haven't really seen that go on a full discount yet, though. Not quite. And I think one of the canaries in that coal mine would be the older GPUs, the older cards that we see, such as the GTX 1066 gig or anything with a 60 at the end by NVIDIA. That's going to be one of those canaries in the coal mine. They don't show us the current price, but the 2070, a little over $2 right? When this 1060 goes below $100, that is one sign that the market is in the right shape. That's what happened last bear market, and I expect for it to happen again this bear market. Closer to 100, $150 for that hardware profile. If we don't reach that point, it really isn't the bottom yet, at least not in GPU mining and hardware space. That said, there are newer GPUs, but that's precisely why the 1060 should go below that price. I'm going to do something I don't often do, and I'm going to search up on eBay live, and you can tell I'm into some weird stuff, right? 3D cameras, hard drives, because they're finally on massive fire sale too, and security devices, which, by the way, they work just fine when they're used. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, especially not YubiKey. They just want you to buy new stuff. So yeah, you can totally go through the effort of clearing those. But let's find a GTX 1060 6GB model. And hey, Bob's your uncle. I think maybe this is me actually admitting we're pretty darn close to the bottom. Yeah, I think that's what I'm having to admit right now. These are near bottom prices for GPUs. We're getting real close. That's definitely what I see. Serpent X Tech. I knew you were weird from the jump. What does it say that we're friends, man? Really? You gonna do me dirty like that? You're throwing yourself under the bus. Good to see you here, Serpent X Tech. And yeah, no, real talk. Serpent X and myself, we will be in Miami. I can't wait to go to the Decentral event with Serpent X Tech and the rest of the content creation fam. There will be some of the GPU mining fam. Hopefully we get more of the Jacksonville community out to Miami for the event. I sincerely hope that that's the case. It is midweek though. A lot of these trade shows are midweek, so it's a little more tricky. If you work for a living, a little more tricky to make it to some of these shows, but I think worth it for a few of them. Decentral and Art Week in Miami, in my mind, is a big event because we've got that crossover of technology, NFTs, or rather crypto, more broadly, NFTs and art. Right, because it is Art Week. You got fine artists flying out to Miami. The end of the week, beginning of the week, you're talking all the tech. Middle of the week, they all hang out together and talk about the crossover. So really fun week in Miami. If you are looking at going though, there's a promo code in the description of the video. So check that out. But yeah, 1080, 1060 prices. This is pretty great stuff, actually. Barry Merritt says I have all the 3090s in boxes now, and says GPU mining is dead for now. I disagree. There are a couple of spec mining plays that might be worth it. I got hit up by one of the co-founders of the DVault team, DVT, and previously from the Smart Cache team. They're working on, it's currently GPU mineable, but it is a novel algorithm. So you may be able to GPU mine on it right now. I'll take a closer look at that and see if I can do a deeper dive, really validate that this is worth spec mining on. But you can still spec mine the way you've always spec mined. Just know that it's probably not, like you're saying, with the pricing, probably not worth leaving those rigs on for a full month, unless you have that much conviction in a new project. But spec mining it's a bear market tradition, right? It's not just for bull markets. Spec mining is the bear market tradition for the GPU miner. And so you got to really hunt, right, for those gems. And I'm not going to talk about anything on stream right now that I feel strongly about. But you got to find that alpha for yourself. So it's, you and, maybe a few dozen other miners that get in, really figure it out. That's where you win in the spec mining. So anyway, Mama Biz is looking at me like, huh? What?
What?
Yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, we're going to turn on my, my noisy heater, my noisy space heater at some point. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have to? I'm sorry. I'm afraid it's quite necessary. All right. So 1080 Ti, I just want to validate what is being said over on What to Mine. We can always find better pricing than what they say. Jeez, Louise, is this a joke? Hold on, we got to look for the buy it now prices because I feel like this is not quite right. Buy it now. See that? Gosh darn it, you have to scroll so far down just to be able to sift through stuff and know that it's correct. All right, we also want to make sure that we check out our completed items only. There we go. There's some truth. Somebody somewhere got this one 1080 Ti, the PNY, for $200, and they're selling it at a buy it now price of $200. That could be a scam. I mean, that almost looks like a scam. Or not. 200 some odd for a 1080 Ti? This is becoming a consistent thing. They're only selling for about this much. Somebody is listing it for about 550, but they're selling it for about 200. That's what I'm talking about, Mama Biz. The full story is usually a little bit more involved than what we find on some of these sites. So you do have to do some digging around. Check out Facebook Marketplace. Check out your local marketplaces, and you are going to find some deals on some of this equipment that you just would not see anywhere else. So, yeah, phenomenal. Dynamine Mining says, I'm selling 4070 8 gigabyte models regularly. So, yeah, that Polaris card, like, it still does have life left in it. What you hear me cautioning the Mind Your Biz community about is that I think for us, scooping up the means of production, the means of production for crypto, I'd be really cautious about acquiring new Polaris cards today. I've had mine for years, but I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would actually get any more right now. The last time we had a big lull, I was still like, cool, yeah, that makes sense. But with Ethash gone, nah, it wouldn't be Polaris. So Barry Merritt says the AIO ones will get you better hash rate in the open air. Yeah. So no, cool. That's great. AIO, that kind of makes sense, I guess. But the thing is, you always want to use airside economy. And so I don't know that I agree in getting AIO models of any GPU, unless it's a newer high performance model where you know it runs extra hot. Like that kind of makes sense to me. Even still, I would be strongly considering a single phase liquid immersion dunk at this point. Like getting a little tank from local like agriculture store and like a feed trough, literally a horse feed trough, and doing a dunk, a low tech dunk like that, and then sealing it up by hand and running your own custom rads with like automotive radiators. That's the way I would go now. Just keep it ultra lean, but make it expandable, right? Make sure you could expand the number of units that you have in liquid immersion cooling. I mean, certainly Bitsby Trippin has a phenomenal little series on getting the really expensive tanks and using the really expensive engineering fluid and stuff. And that's cool. But I think that he's kind of showing, like leading from the front, probably the time to increase your efficiencies, go to an industrial space if you can. But I think you should cut your costs a lot more than what he's been doing, because we're not operating the same scale. So just saying. Yeah, Barry Merritt says engineering fluid. Yeah, I know, right? That crazy like ultra engineered dielectric coolant that they use. It's something else, but you know, you're spending in some cases hundreds of dollars a gallon. I don't think that the ROI works out for most at-home miners. Just saying. Dynamite Mining says we don't all have untold stacks of BTC. LOL. Yeah, right. Just how it is. Like some of us are working with a smaller stack. Some of us are working with a smaller tech stack. I've got a little tech, IT graveyard over here. Mama Biz is probably totally fed up with it, but yeah, that doesn't mean it all performs right and gets me massive returns on my crypto mining. So moving on from the GPU mining profitability, let's look at our portfolios, guys and gals. Take a quick look at the GPU mining portfolio. We've got Barry Merritt. Actually, he drops a great piece of info there on the engineering fluid. Some of it is $32 a gallon. That's great. I don't know if it's BitCool. So, for example, there is a branded engineering fluid called BitCool that is designed specifically for sensitive components, not just ASICs, but sensitive components like GPU rigs, so you don't denature the rubber fittings and clamps and the wire jacketing and everything else on your system. But it is a little more pricey. It might not be $32 a gallon, so it's pretty crazy. 323-213, clearly somebody telling us they're from SoCal. Hey, That's interesting. How did you know to make that your username? That's my question to you. But they ask, what has happened to El Salvador? You will have to jump back in the stream to check that out. Not going to cover it again, but the bottom line is, if they were in for a penny, they were going to go in for a pound, right? So a lot more Bitcoin for them. In our current GPU mining or mineable coin lineup, Caspa is still a very strong contender, but our entry here was a paper entry at the day of launch. If you acquired the day they launched, you'd be killing it. Not everybody could. A project that you didn't have to time in order to get in very, very, very early is Flux. And Flux was already in operation for about a year and a half before we made this portfolio entry. Now it's still doing pretty well, right? You would still be up, right, by a significant margin if you had acquired some Flux, either by mining or some other way. There we go. Get a little more of that picture for you there. But still up by almost 200%, doing extremely well. And as I understand it, a lot of the Flux node miners or the Flux node holders, node operators are doing really well also. Biggest loser in this category is still Haven, down 96.9% at well below 50 cents at this point, and just languishing, just struggling. I think it's safe to say this project is going to flatline and it might not make it through this bear market. Etho Protocol as well on that list down here to potentially be axed. In fact, it's below the $1 million market cap line, which means we may struggle to see them, or they may struggle to ever return back to prominence. Conceal, guys, go ahead and throw those bullhorns up for Savage Mine. He promoted them big time, but Conceal is at below a $1 million market cap. However, their leadership team has reached out to me recently. I don't know if you know this, Mama Biz, but their leadership team reached out to me and said, hey, we're still working on this project. We're still attempting to create an environment where we value privacy. Do you want to see them on the channel? I told them that if we could fit them in, that we would. And I just kind of struggled to make time for most other media outside of our live streams. But Mind Your Biz community, if you want to see something from the Conceal community or from the Conceal leadership, let me know. A lot of other projects are in that same category, though, of a market cap that is well below what we would normally consider viable, right? So jumping all the way to the bottom, Gemlink, wrecked. Etho Protocol, really low. Ryo currency at almost 500,000. Equilibria is just barely above the $1 million market cap, and everybody was shilling it like it was the bee's knees. Sure, it was profitable to mine, but there's no liquidity left. There's almost no market cap left. We couldn't all mine it and take profits out of it because we would absolutely destroy it. So this is why market cap does matter. It's why liquidity and volume do matter. So we got to pay attention to that. Neoxa, sure, there were profits, only $2 million market cap, and so on and so forth. Moving up the list, we do have to look at that market cap as a strong fundamental figure in a bear market, combined with whether or not their team is still operating. So yeah, moving up the list, Caspa is at that almost $100 million market cap. So if we are finding bottom support in the markets, it's in a good position to grow from that point up moving forward. Ethereum, of course, is still on this list only because people have already mined it, not because it's still GPU mineable. Just keep that in mind. Through our other portfolios, briefly, hard drive mining. We've got nothing that's in profit and a couple things that are down very bad. Chia at $30. If it does get to that $15 mark, I promise the poor investor that I would buy a bag of chia. We're getting closer. It was at like 45 the last time I checked in. So 30, we're getting there. It might happen. We might be forced to buy some chia. I'm sorry, Mom Biz. I'll apologize in advance.
I'm going to cry.
I know, right? That's
not really. I don't really know what chia is.
Yeah. So these are all hard disk mineable coins.
Okay.
And so, yeah, there it is. It's had a green week, but it's still struggling. Not going to lie, it's still struggling. Market cap is still strong, though. Outside of like Filecoin and then Saya Coin, one of the strongest market caps out there. And the leadership team is pretty good. So I don't doubt that they're going to return. So being forced to buy some chia at $15, not the worst thing. But if we do find bottom support now, then I don't have to be held to that, that little gentleman's bet. So that's hard disk mining in a nutshell. I think that it would be worth, if you already have plotted hard drives, you might consider doing that at a loss for projects like Chia. Yeah, I think you might consider it. If you've got hard drives that are only costing you $5 a month to operate, maybe now is the right time to stack rewards there before it goes back up. Yeah, you heard it. You heard it here. I'm changing my tune on that one because I'm responding to new information. Raptorium for CPU mining projects is doing okay. Epic Cash also okay as a long-term hodl. As far as it being profitable, can't speak to that. Monero is always in season. Its market cap is billions of dollars strong. It's not going anywhere. It is the privacy coin of privacy coins. It's private all the time. And so if we're seeing its lowest price at close to $130, that's not bad either. But we should be monitoring that for a potential acquisition. If you're looking at projects with strong fundamentals like Bitcoin, I think you should be looking at Monero as well. You really should be considering it. If you're only DCAing into strong projects, Monero is pretty strong. So just consider it, take a look at it, do what's right for you. ASIC mineable coins. This is the side of the portfolio where you can buy a little shoebox looking device. And as I mentioned earlier on in the stream, you can go find cheap power somewhere and you can figure out what your cost to mine one full unit is. Bitcoin is at the top of the stack, meaning it's the least worst option. It's still down almost 60% since we made this portfolio, but it's in the $16,000 range. Biggest loser, we don't have an entry for all of them, but it's Bytecoin as outlined here. TBTC, SBTC, RenBTC. I mentioned this on a live stream earlier. These are all wrapped Bitcoin representations. RenBTC has the highest market cap, but it's not always the best deal. SBTC and TBTC are other options. You might consider it. WBTC has billions of dollars wrapped up that go across Ethereum, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, and other EVM chains, other smart contract chains. But it is highly centralized, and they can shut your tokens down. So they can freeze your fund, your wrapped Bitcoin. Not good, right? It's not the best way to hold Bitcoin, but it does make it useful in DeFi. Cadena, I need to put an entry into, so forgive me, I won't have that done as of today's stream. And again, the leadership of Devault, I think it's quite possible they've just said, hey, we need to call it a day here, well below that $100,000 mark. Let's check out market caps again. Yep, Devault and then Bytecoin. Nearest neighbor is $4 million market cap. I don't think they compare, but that's ASIC mining in a nutshell. It might be the right time to acquire an ASIC as well. Just think about it. FPGAs, these are the small devices that require a little bit more hand holding, a little more hands-on to get operating, more complex than a GPU, but more high performance than a GPU. So it requires a bit more work than a GPU to make it run, and can mine some coins that ASICs can't mine. This right here, different story. Cadena doing quite well in terms of having a portfolio entry. So actually, we do have our numbers right there on this side of the portfolio. 0x Bitcoin, really suffering, over 80% down. And then Handshake, 93% down. But this is what I love about that. Handshake is already listed on Namecheap. You can buy domains right now through Handshake on Namecheap, a very common website registrar. If you want to look for domain names for your website, they have a product right now that is in the market right now that people are using right now. So that to me is just one really big sign of use case. Now, eventually we'll actually be able to use those domain names. You can buy them, but you just can't connect the website through them yet. So that partnership has yet to be made, but being on a massive discount right there, that's in my mind, something to watch, something to be aware of. We'll take a closer look at the fundamentals for that project soon. Smart contract networks. Solana has fallen well out of the top 5. It's barely in the top 10. It's plummeting right now. So way down from its all-time high and way down from the price that we put into the portfolio last year, $13, and steadily dropping, right? It's definitely getting punished right now. Polygon is up. Ethereum's up. Phantom's up. Almost everything except for Tron is up. So he can, that's why Justin Sun is bragging about buying 1 Bitcoin per day. He knows that he needs some attention so his token doesn't completely fail. But yeah, much stronger fundamentals and a lot more of these projects. Cosmos is getting a lot of love, and it really should. It's an extremely sound, if you're going to look at more centralized systems of consensus, you're okay with proof of stake, you should be paying attention to Cosmos. I've been saying it for a while though. And at $10, let's see if maybe it goes on more sale than that. But definitely, I think worth having a small bag of Cosmos. I'm going to be acquiring more. But biggest loser right now, Internet Computer, still with $1 billion market cap. Terra Luna Classic, still with $1 billion market cap. Lost 100% of its value. Still has $1 billion market cap. It's crazy. And then Kusama. People are looking at Kusama and wondering, should I get it while it's on sale? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. We could see that in next bull run, that Polkadot is actually in a better place to launch its main network, right? Its main net. And a lot of the projects that were on Kusama need to migrate to Polkadot. So I don't know, a value buy, sometimes it's cheap for a reason. So just be aware of that. Yeah, I'd be very, very cautious about that, indeed. Cardano, seeing some love, but I'm not for me. Cardano needs to ship some better code, I think, for me to be interested. And I want to see projects running on it. I haven't been speculating on the price, so for me, it's a bit late to start speculating now, I think. In the junk drawer, these are all majorly speculative coins. This is all stuff that, like, you want to go full degen. This is what going full degen looks like. Looks like getting some of these coins. Saitama Inu, still just massively up. Just slaying bodies. Up by 12% in the last week. And if you held it from its first initial launch price, your PNL would just look amazing. Now, it looks unbelievable, basically. It looks like you have $21 billion. Well, that's like more than more than 1,000 times the market cap? No, it's more than 500 times the market cap. Anyway, point is, that's an unrealistic portfolio entry, but the percentage gain is not if you got it when it first launched. Everrise is also up by thousands of percentage points. Again, yet again, we have about half the market cap right there. So it's unrealistic that you would have gotten that, but this is all starting with $1,000 paper trade in our paper tracker here. So just so if you're watching this the first time, these are not realistic numbers, but they do represent when a coin launched or as close to May of last year. So we've been doing this for over a year, holding this portfolio and tracking it for over a year. These are long-term gains. Luffy is doing all right. After that point, though, it starts going negative after Shiba Inu. Even a relatively cheap entry into Hex, which a lot of people just love and others love to hate, is down significantly, 44% down. GMT, which offered some additional mining rewards as it's a tokenized mining system, cloud mining system, also down. And everything else, way, way down. Biggest loser that we have a position in is Akita Inu. Akita Inu is down, but it also doesn't have a transparent market cap. So unfortunately, we don't know what that really means. Serum Dex is down very bad, but that's because it's directly attached to Solana. So we could see Serum completely implode. If you do hold bags, like buyer beware. Solana, we may be witnessing a slow, painful death. And that means that Serum Dex and the other services that run on Solana, they're along for the ride, right? So don't be on that sinking ship, I think, is the take home. Or if you want to go full degen, this is definitely not financial advice. If you want to go full degen, then maybe these are the assets that you speculate on. But just know, that's a very, very dangerous game. You're playing with fire. So, but some people look at that and they get really excited, right? They say, oh, cool, dips for me to buy. Because that right there is a 2x. If you want to swing trade it.
Well, people made some money on FTT just a little while ago, right? Caught the knife and away they went.
And on Luna before it turned into Luna Classic. Some people speculated on the Pico bottom. And I mean.
So if you're that person, go ahead.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I don't.
Have fun.
I couldn't sleep. I mean, you know, I could barely sleep the summer of DeFi. You don't remember because I was, you were asleep, but I couldn't sleep the summer of DeFi and get up and be like, oh man, LP is like, am I doing this right? Have I set things up correctly? Do I need to do LP MineLink compound, like LP mining rewards? Like this stuff is just like, it's not for the faint of heart. Just saying. And that was relatively tame by comparison. Wasn't dealing with, that stuff that completely, these assets that are completely imploding right before our eyes. Gold Retriever, brand new project that I talked about. It's up significantly over the last 7 days, but it's down significantly only over the last month, right? So just be aware. When I made the explainer video, and it is just an explainer, it's not an endorsement, but when I made the explainer video, because they didn't compensate me, not sponsored media, I just know the founders and I like them, so I made the video. But yeah, $3.37. That's down by a little over $1 from when I made that video. So just know, like when I talk about stuff like that, when I make videos like that, I am not telling you to buy anything ever. I'm never telling you to buy anything because this stuff just happens. It's like as soon as you start talking about it, of course, obviously it dips. Just saying. So yeah, biggest drop below that. It sorts according to market cap. If it doesn't otherwise have P&L to sort by. Let's look at our 7-day performance, though, on this side of the portfolio. It looks like Baby Saitama, biggest loser, and biggest gainer, let's see exactly which one, is Kaspa. Yeah, Caspa's been slaying it, 81% up over the last week. So if you've been mining it at profit, you're even more in the money. Moving out of the junk drawer, though, let's check out the IBC gang. This is everything related to the Cosmos ecosystem that I mentioned before. It's really coming up, and it's kind of a sleeping giant, we'll say. But Cadena is the number one. Next neighbor is Cosmos Hub by way of value and long-term hodl. We do have proper entries into all of these. Terra Luna Classic is the biggest loser, but then Sentinel and Persistence are right behind it. And also Akash Network. Just a heads up, if you are in Miami, I will be moderating a panel, finally, moderating a panel between Greg Osuri, the lead of Akash Network, and Daniel Keller from Flux Network. So check that out. I'm beyond giddy that I finally get to facilitate that conversation, but we'll be doing so from the stage in Miami of the convention center that they have chosen there. I don't have that off the top of my head. It's not called the Long Center. It's something else. But
all I know is they're taking FTX off of the building right now.
That's probably we'll probably be within eye shot of where that happened down in Brickell Village in Miami. So. But we'll be having that conversation. I'm so excited to finally have that. It's not going to be a debate. Going to be a friendly conversation. At least if I have anything to say about it, it's not going to devolve into anything childish. They're perfectly reasonable adults that can talk about their projects.
You just said it, and we'll see what happens.
I know, right? Watch it turn into a fist fight, literal fist fight. Not them. It'll be like somebody from the community, be like jumping on stage and throwing chairs and stuff.
And then everyone's just like, you remember when Seth said it was going to be friendly?
Yeah, watch me get canceled. Yeah, in Miami. Thanks a lot. Anyway, jumping back in. Yeah, this is the tail end of all of these projects. Cosmos Hub winning, Shen2 winning, Secret winning, and then Osmosis winning. These are strong fundamental projects, right? Secret is your means of keeping your holdings in the crypto ecosystem, of keeping it private. Let me go ahead and add another asset to this side of the portfolio that is part of the Cosmos ecosystem. That is Shade Protocol. So I'm going to leave that right there and see if I can also add the Silk. Here we go. It's not Silk Chain. Nope. Well, it looks like it is not actually listed there. That's unfortunate. But we'll find that later on. I'll add that a little bit later on. Shade Protocol is another one of those projects that is reasonable. It's a reasonable long bet to watch. Very low market cap, but I think they're doing good work. So 10 set gems. This is the side of the portfolio that was really struggling for a long time, but apparently is finding some relief this week. Conga Exchange up 21% at over 350. It's over 380 cents, I guess. There you go. $3.80. And it's one of those exchanges that for me, I was okay with talking about them because they are a KYC light centralized exchange, not because I think you should be using centralized exchanges. But a KYC light centralized exchange, if we do need to do quick spot swaps, Mama Biz, or we do need to put in a quick limit order on in a way that is not on a DEX, I do kind of look for tools like that, but I don't leave our funding there. Just saying, it's a tool. Hopefully they survive. We'll see how they do in the current climate. The Conga Exchange, Fame MMA, it's really a travesty that they launched essentially stillborn. They were meant to be tied into both MetaHero and Everdome as an ecosystem, and that is just not quite turning out the way all of these different players hoped, right? So the market cap is still there. They're not dead. They do have a leadership team that is involved and engaged. So hopefully we see a return to profitability sometime soon. But yeah, that's the 10 set side of the ecosystem. We got stables, brief overview, see if anything is decorrelated or depegged. Everything here should be around $1. If it's not around $1, that could be smoke signaling fire. Oh, USDD staying at about $715 million market cap. See, Terra Luna Classic, not a shock there. Liquidity trading at a premium, $1.04. Yeah, crazy, right?
You gonna tell us about that?
Yeah,
nope.
Actually,
What's Liquidity? What did I ask?
I'm glad you asked. Liquidity is an algorithmic stablecoin that gets the algorithm right.
Okay.
Yeah, that simple. Over collateralized.
So that's it.
That's it. Over collateralized algorithmic stablecoin.
Okay.
Is you put in $2 or $3 worth of something else, and they say here is one Liquidity USD. Here's one LUSD.
Cool.
So yeah, it's that simple. And if your collateral stops being worth the amount that it needs to be, they sell your collateral. So it stays balanced. Yeah, so they're not printing, funny money.
So they don't function like a fiat.
They unfortunately are pegged to a fiat, but
Oh,
they don't function to a fiat, similar to a fiat. That's right.
I
It's
need
not.
more caffeine to have this conversation.
I know it's not fractionally reserved though. It's over collateralized. So
Got it.
anyway, just saying, Liquidity they're one of the good guys. Barry Merritt says Magic Internet Money was supposed to be over collateralized. That's true, but Magic Internet Money was also tied into the Luna and UST ecosystem. So I had a little bit of concern there. But Magic Internet Money is there, and they are another option. That's why they're here on the list. Synthetics USD, similar, supposed to be over collateralized. And between these three, you've got a little better than $250 million worth of market cap. It's great. It's great that they've got something going on, but they're nowhere near the market cap of the Gemini dollar or True USD, Pax dollar, or in terms of algorithmic and collateral like CDP stablecoins. Frax, right? Frax is one of those that's over $1 billion market cap and has some of the fundamentals of these others. Binance USD, very bullish on Binance USD, especially after the talk with CZ, and then DAI. You've heard me talk about how I don't have a fundamental problem with DAI. I don't see a huge problem with DAI, but it doesn't make sense to leave all your eggs in one basket if you're using relatively centralized stablecoins, or if you're using even synthetic derivatives as stablecoins. Be very careful is all I'm going to say. I wouldn't trust any one of these, but several of them, do your own research and decide where your risk tolerance is, even keeping stables, right? Because Tether, there's the FUD, all constant FUD about Tether. USDC, well, they will very clearly, they'll shut down your wallet if they think you've had a problem, or if you've ever interacted with another wallet that used Tornado Cash. So it's a minefield out there. That's all I'm going to say. That's why we cover this side of the portfolio. GPU Ethereum replacements very quickly. Ethereum Classic, top of the stack because of market cap. Let's see 7-day gains, though. It's Caspa, Conflux, Firo, top 3. Worst in the stack are Epic Cash, Zero, and Flux. They're down really, really bad. So long-term hodl, some of these are good, but last 7 days, different picture. And then I just call it the RH ecosystem. If you know, you know. If you like it, fine. If you don't like it, also fine. You're not going to hurt my opinion or hurt my feelings by airing your opinion or airing your grievance about one Richard Hart. I kind of don't care, right? I kind of don't care. I follow projects that have strong fundamentals, and right now, there are strong fundamentals in this ecosystem. There really are in some sides of the ecosystem. But you got a market cap, for example, of Cult DAO of over 24 million. That's not a fake number. The market cap came from a place. You got PulsePad that's really, really low, and a lot of these others that are undetermined or just not returning a full market cap. And last 7 days, the biggest loser here has been Maximus DAO, but that's directly correlated, or should be directly correlated, either with Hex or with T-shares from within Hex, because it's all integrated, right? The price should be trading at a premium above Hex, and it should be trading at a slightly higher premium. But you've also got wrapped into that the hedge run rewards. So yeah, if you're into that ecosystem, just be aware that the biggest winners are the memes. Pulse Doge Coin, Cult, anything that's memetic is doing well. Everything else with fundamentals is not. How funny is that? Anyway, so that's the RH ecosystem and the Doge chain ecosystem. Looking at these outliers and these long shots, just because, again, for the lulls, you got Kibble Swap doing 73% this last week.
What is Kibble Swap?
Kibble Swap is a fork of Uniswap. And just like Serum Dex, it's a DEX.
Got it.
It's a DEX on Doge chain. And Doge chain itself is a meme chain that's trading below a penny, right? But it's 2% up and, $15 million market cap. If they have a fraction of the success that something like Doge has had, it could easily do another 10x. That's still just a fraction of the performance. And for it to go all the way to over $1 billion market cap, that would be 100x above what it is right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So crazy times. Yeah, that's why we're tracking that. These are long shots, not financial advice, just paying attention to it. How can you know about it unless you're alerted to it, right? So I've got this side of the portfolio as well, so we can just sort of see what's going on there. We will put in some positions, right? Some paper holdings pretty soon, but we can't put it as far back in time as the rest of our portfolio because it just didn't exist back then. So tracking some of these projects, if you know of good Dogechain projects or good RH ecosystem projects, good Cosmos ecosystem projects, or any other long shot projects that you think should go into one of these portfolios, tell me in a comment down below. Let us know. Oh, yeah, it looks like audio is being doubled. Thanks for the feedback there. Sorry for the feedback here, but appreciate you letting me know. Some of that has to do with whether or not, that's very, very strange. It really shouldn't be. So that is something in our audio signal, and I apologize for that. Thanks for letting us know. We are trying to isolate the microphones a little bit better, but we do have a little bit of an audio like software ghost too that we're trying to trace down. If I speak really, really quietly, you can tell we get rid of that. So that might just be the IRL, me us not isolating the microphones well enough. Thank you for letting us know about the echo, though. We'll try to decrease that over time. So and automatic beats would be the one. Automatic beats has the ear for that. So yeah, if you know of good portfolio entries for any of these portfolios, let me know down in the comment. Appreciate you watching all the way to the end. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Mom Biz, you have anything else?
I'm tired and I need some caffeine, and so everybody go out and have a good morning. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I was so awake when we were going through the news, and now I'm just like, we're talking about technical.
Well, we went an hour and 30 minutes on today's live stream.
Okay,
so
that's
90-minute live stream will do it to you. It takes it out of you. So
All
appreciate you guys being here for today's episode. Appreciate
have a great day, everybody. That's all I have to say.
Up. Be sure you share things too. Do appreciate you being here live. Yeah, have a great day though. Make it a great day, and we will see you in the next one.